Despite my hunger, though, I'm stopped dead in my tracks as I look around the cafeteria for a place to sit. It's a jungle out here. It's a jungle out there. The whole place is overtaken by... The fuck was that? What are you doing? What you doing back there? No. The whole place is overtaken by lawless anarchy. I've never seen a riot this intense. The whole place is overtaken by lawless anarchy. I've never seen a riot this intense. A few students have even crawled halfway up the wall, hanging by the decorative vines. Food flies about everywhere, utilized as ammunition rather than subsistence. You don't appreciate what you're given. What's wrong with you? And yet the security guard by the door isn't moving. This must be acceptable. I shudder to think what would be bad enough to warrant him taking action. I've never seen anything like this at any of my old schools. But more importantly, all the cliques have already formed from the previous day. I missed my chance to sit with anybody. Wait, it's only the second day. Why am I acting as though it's too late for anything? Yo, Nico! I'm shoulder-checked from behind by what feels like an oversized fist or undersized boulder. If I wasn't already by a wall, I would have either been sent sprawling or made into roadkill. When I turned around, I met with Damien's toothy grin. What? What, already forgot about me? You don't got anywhere to be, right? Yeah. You stuttered. Come on, we're going somewhere. Might as well, right? Damien excitedly motions at me to follow through the traffic of students going about the lunchroom. Peering in through the crowd, waving me over, and disappearing again like he's outrunning something. It's a good thing I hadn't gotten my own lunch yet. It'd be dumped on the ground about 3 elbows and a slap ago. Oh. The clamoring, I hear something about a turf war restarting with the new year, and that megalodons will continue to rule. O'Doyle's rule. That movie's something else, man. It's cool to pee your pants, man. Okay? Somewhere mixed in is the undeniable sound of a steel chair clattering to the ground. The place is an actual war zone now. How on earth is Damien able to weave through these guys so easily? He's got that ultra instinct. What the hell is that poster? Eventually, he leads me to the far corner of the room and to his usual lunch table. Hey, you're alive. I think one of my ribs is cracked. That's just the school spirit you're feeling. Ooh. I feel less like a person and more like a well-used punching bag. I finished stretching my wounded back and actually checked the table. It's basically empty. There's only one other person here. The Gator girl gives an unamused raised brow. Hey, you. Oh, snap, you know Olivia? Olivia, right, yeah. The one and only. Why didn't you tell me you met already? Because I only sort of did. We're in the same class. Okay, I get it now. Still, that sounds awesome. All my lunch buddies are artists. All? Oh yeah, there's usually a third in our group. But she's out screwing around in school business. She'll probably be back tomorrow. Student council stuff can't take that long, right? What's she need with the student council? Oh, she doesn't need anything with the student council. She's in it. She's the treasurer. The treasurer? Something like that. What do you think, Olivia? Olivia just grunts in reply. You're quite the novel. She doesn't even bother to look up from her lunch tray. Aren't you an artist too, Damien? Nah, I don't get the patience to sit around for hours like that. So you're not taking advantage of the art programs here? Don't really need them. Home's just real close by. Only other artist here today is Olivia. His arms wave over Olivia as if he was presenting her at an auction or something. For her part, the Gator girl just grunts again. What do you do then, Olivia? Finally, she looks up, turning an indifferent look my way. Did she say something? What was that? The ambient war noises are a bit too loud. Can't hear a thing. Sorry, I can't hear anything you're saying over the... Don't sweat it. She's just a real quiet type. That's new. I paint. I hope I never see that face again. If I see it again, it's going to be a real bad time, let me tell you. Oh no. Whoa, hey. Holy hell, her voice sounds so raspy, as if she'd never drunk a drop of water in her life. Well, I guess I hadn't noticed before when she gave those one-syllable responses. But for someone's voice to be strained from a single shout. She furrows her brow and looks back down at her lunch. Snap, we've been standing around for a while. He sits back in his own seat and takes a huge bite of mystery meat steak. Right, food. After the workout and poor breakfast today, I'm particularly famished now. But the line. All eyes look to where the lunch line should be. And it's become a full-blown riot. Someone's got a fire extinguisher trying to stop it. Oh, I probably should have waited for you to get yours. Oops. Damien returns to his steak, rather aggressively. But who am I to question the dino etiquette and the act of using one's foot to anchor the food for tearing? Suddenly, the sound of squeaking rubber draws both of our attention towards Olivia. She's holding onto one of her wheels, having just skidded it across the granite floor. What's up? She tilts her head back towards the courtyard door behind us. It looks like there's a few vending machines out there. Huh, guess I'll check them out. I leave the group behind to try to get lunch. Not a fan of soda and chips for a meal, but it's enough for wartime survival. Hey, this thing accepts credit cards. Handy. I'm feeling like my favorite color is drywall, store brand soda. Pretending to be on a diet, baked chips. A huge fucking idiot, I'm gonna get a sports drink. No more bananas. This ape only wants Powerade. I want Powerade. I pick out a few other brands I recognize, enough to tide me over for the rest of the school day. I bend to pick up the bags from the dispenser slot, and that green chick's looking at me. She notices me gazing at her and hunches over again hurriedly. What's that all about? Right, making new friends. I buy a few extra sodas for the table. Carrying everything back in both arms, I place them on an empty spot, sliding a can of soda to Damien. He looks at me like I had just tossed him a gold bar. That's new. Whoa, dude. That's fucking poggers, dude. The Dino Boy's mouth opens wide as he chomps at the bottom of the can, his fangs piercing the thin metal and spraying its contents down his gullet. I toss over some to Olivia as well. She eyes it as though it were booby trapped before taking a bag of chips. Damien sighs happily as he chucks the shredded remains of his can away. Probably on the floor for someone to slip on. Caffeine ambrosia. What were we talking about before? Olivia's art, right. She's really good, Inky. Like you wouldn't believe. Can't he at least stick to a nickname? Really? Oh, totally. She's like won awards and stuff. She has. Can I see them? In fact, I could snap some glamour shots for you. No need, dude. I've already got pictures on my phone. No, I mean, hold on. I pick my backpack up from the floor, unzipping it and retrieving my beloved camera from it. I'm actually into photography. The Dino Man reaches for the well-aged DSLR, and on instinct I swat his hand away. Hey! Sorry. Force of habit. What do you think, Olivia? She eyes me up and down with the same furrowed brow. Aren't you the guy that ate dirt in gym yesterday? Yep. No, I did not. No. Now where's my Men in Black thingamafucker? How does this thing work? Please don't remember my embarrassment. Please. I shoot Damien a quick, dirty glance before returning to look at Olivia. It wasn't that bad. It was pretty bad. It wasn't. And how does everyone seem to know about it? Because people were there and they saw it with their eyeballs. Damien looks aside sheepishly. I may have had a hand spreading the story around. Thanks. I thought it was funny. It hurt. Don't worry, though. Everyone has some embarrassing story. Don't worry, though. Everyone has some embarrassing story. One time I got my frills stuck in the bathroom stall. We're in America. Those things are fucking wide. You can look inside. You can go underneath like this at the bottom. It's like that one video where that kid just came in through the bottom, and then the camera turns away, and then he's right in the camera's face, and then it just ends. Oh my god. I didn't need to know that. That's a new face, it seems. It took him an hour to get it out. You smug motherfucker. See? Everyone's got something. Olivia pops a chip into her jaws, her face looking out to nowhere, as if she's thinking of something. Damien leans close to me. One of his frills extends to hide from Olivia. Dude, I haven't seen her talk this much during lunch since last year. She said 3 things, and one of them was a grunt. Why the secrecy? It's like a secret meeting. Those are cool. Uh-huh. But yeah, this is something else. She's really warming up to you, I can tell. He sits back down properly. Honestly, this whole thing is a little creepy. She's probably not a bad person to talk to, but Damien isn't helping any. As eager as I am to make new friends this year, this is definitely not how I thought it would pan out. Maybe it's best that I get through lunch quickly and quietly. At least I have a spot to sit during lunch, not like I'd have any other options. Ah, there you are, Inco. A voice rings out to greet me, which catches our attention. I see a familiar bespectacled face walk over to us with a lunch tray in his hands. Glad to see that you've made it to lunch this time. Oh, hey, Ben. I'm guessing you and Inky here are already met. Glad to see that you've made it to lunch this time. Oh, hey, Ben. I'm guessing you and Inky here already met. Introduced myself after I bumped into him the other day. Speaking of bumps, you should have seen Inky here yesterday. Damien lets out a cackle and slaps me on the back, igniting the gym pains in my body and almost knocking my glasses off. Ben gives a concerned half smile. This must be my eternal torment for the rest of the semester. Yeah, about yesterday. Ben looks down the aisle of chatting students and signals to someone with his head. Standing 10 feet away from us is an imposing-looking dinosaur girl with blonde hair, crimson scales, and sporting a fiery red leather jacket. Ben motions for her to come closer with a soft smile on his face and nod. And she smiles back, though her own is noticeably strained. Okay, I'm here. She slowly makes her way over, and I notice now how some of the students begin to quiet down as she passes them by. As she gets closer, her intense presence invades me, and even though we're about the same height, I feel like an ant about to get crushed under her boot. Somewhere in Mia's synapse connects her face to me tasting bright red rubber yesterday. I really wish it hadn't. Inco, Mia here has something to say to you. Mia stays silent, but strides the last couple steps rigidly to stand right in front of me. She sucks in air through her teeth. Sorry. The corner of the girl's lips start to rise. That's rude. Don't do that. I didn't mean to knock your lights out. Behind her, I noticed Ben wincing. Don't grab me there. That's not right. The girl lets out a laugh and lays an arm around my shoulder, her smile growing wide once more. Heat creeps along my face as her muzzle nears my ear, especially when a puff of hot air blows by the lobe. The heat is torn away, though, when I feel her fingers dig roughly into my shoulder, and her sharp hiss of a whisper scrapes my eardrum. That ball was me being nice, Baldy nose hair. Screw the class over again, and I'll fucking end you. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Nodding in understanding, Mia pushes away from me with a small cheer. See? All clear now, Benny boy. Mia, that's not correct. Boo, you know how I am. Her eyes flutter as she looks away. Yes, I know they're totally together. Totally. Like, that's gonna come out of nowhere at some point, and I'm gonna call it. Yes, I know, but you promised you wouldn't be nicer, I know, and I was. So I'll be seeing you later tonight, Benny. Just like we promised. I think I'm correct. I don't know if this was there last time. She waves us off collectively and backs into the crowd, vanishing before either one of us could fully process her words and actions. Her words and deeds that we'll regret. Damien nudges my side. Dude, I think she likes you. Ben sighs. Sorry about that, Inco. I heard earlier about what happened at PE and connected the dots. Mia comes off as rough around the edges, but she's actually really sweet. I'm sure you're the one who knows that. I'll talk to her more about it later. Sorry, notifications. You and her, huh? I was right. That wasn't there last time. Yeah, since the start of high school. I think somebody saw that webcomic and was like, huh, yeah, you wanna put that in? Okay. The classic jock and nerd pairing. Sounds like you're living the dream. You know it. But yeah, I'm sorry your first impression of her isn't ideal. It's fine, it was just dodgeball, not like she was looking to do something. Yeah. Damien? Damien looks up from the rest of his meal, having selectively heard his name. Could you not spread rumors about your fellow classmates? No worries, Nico and I are cool. That's not my name. Wait. Incognito. Nito. Oh, it's... Is that like... That's both names together. Make sure nobody saw me doing such a dirty gesture. Sorry. God. No worries. Nico and I are cool. That's not his name, dipshit. That still doesn't make it right. Sure, yes sir, yeah. He gives Ben a lazy salute. Ben merely sighs as he places his tray on the table and makes himself comfortable on the seat next to me. As he settles in, Ben notices my camera, still out on the table. Oh, is this your camera, Inco? That's that little smile. Oh yeah. I was showing it to Damien and Olivia earlier. May I? I feel my instincts kick in for a moment before remembering that Ben also works with a camera. Sure, have a look. I watch as Ben gingerly picks up my camera and gives it a thorough inspection. I must say, as far as standard DSLRs go, yours is of very good quality. It's nothing too special, really, just something I picked up a while back. Well, you have a good taste in camera models. He hands me back my camera, to which I place it back into my backpack. Thanks. With something like that, it'd be easy to get some great shots. Well, I do have a small collection in a portfolio drive. A portfolio? Oh man, I only just got mine a month ago. I bet you got like a dozen pieces to choose from for the New Year's art contest. The what? He missed that announcement. What announcement? The school has an annual art contest at the start of every new year. The winner gets a small cash prize, but the bigger prize is the fact that the winner's piece is submitted for publication in a couple big-time magazines. Oh. Oh, wow. That sounds awesome. Of course, that also means a lot of the students plan ahead and work all summer for something to submit. Did you do anything for it, Ben? You know it. Well, good luck. Liz said she'd turn in the perfect piece yesterday. Okay, now I'm interested. Finally, a chance to show my real skill at something I'm good at. Hey, Olivia could help you out. With your shots and her art, you two could totally win. Right, Olivia? Olivia? We all turn our heads to Olivia, only to realize that she's disappeared. When did she leave? Confused, I scan around the cafeteria, and my eyes manage to spot her through the crowd of students. She's rolling away towards the cafeteria doors, and quickly. Just like that, I lose sight of her as fast as I had seen her. I turned to look at Damien and Ben. Damien not only looks puzzled, but also disappointed for some reason. Ben, meanwhile, well, he almost looks annoyed at that Olivia left. Guess she hasn't changed. So it seems. The venomous sting to his words makes me feel like there's more going on than I'm aware of. I decide not to try to pry into it, and instead bring the conversation back. Well, I still want to try. You can upload your submission to the school website. Oh, then I'll need an account. You don't have one? Don't think so. I've been told they'll get me that stuff by the end of the week. Sounds about right. Truthfully, it takes maybe 5 minutes at most to deal with that. And then why the wait? Nobody wants to deal with it. Guess I'll wait then. Ben scratches the side of his head. I think there's someone in Stuco that can help you out, actually. It's the treasurer's duty today, though. Today. So that's where Liz ended up. I don't know any names, so maybe. I guess I'll go meet Liz sooner rather than later. Think I'll take care of that before lunch is over then. See you in class, Ben. Sure thing. Later, Damien. Deuces, man. Tell Liz I said hi. I grabbed some of the leftover snacks from the table and my backpack and head out of the cafeteria. Finally, I can show off my skills. Show that I'm just as capable an artist as anyone else here. The computer lab is in an offshoot room from our library. As for the library itself, aside from an expected emphasis on anatomy drawing guides and the like, it's pretty standard. Not to brag, but the school I was at for my freshman and junior years had a library with 2 floors. Probably should have read a thing or two with all those resources. Time. I have time. Perhaps I should make use of it, instead of not. I'm getting off topic. The computer lab is the focus. The calm tranquility of the library is overtaken by the organized sterility of the lab. 40 standardized sets of computers and monitors line the walls, forming a panopticon around the desk reserved for the teacher in the middle. I remember them being organized differently in elementary school, but for a few years now, I've just been seeing this formation. Those programs that teach you how to properly type, just... At least there were kid pics. At least there was that. I remember them being organized differently in elementary school, but for a few years now, I've just been seeing this formation. Sounds to me like someone got caught one too many times working on more risque art pieces. Just do that at home. You at least have your room. The monitors are all turned on, but only one's logged in. Weird, there's nobody here. Damien and Ben said Liz would be here, though. Maybe she's in the bathroom. I'm not one to pry and snoop around, but I'm really pressed for time here. I'm not one to pry and snoop around, but I'm really pressed for time here. On screen, I see open PDFs and documents. They look finance-related and filled with abbreviations and jargon I don't understand. Maybe I can figure out how to create my account on my own. What are you doing? Oh, haunted high school. I didn't mean to scare you. Oh, thank Christ. It's just a dino girl with an extremely long neck and not a specter. No, really, what were you doing to the fiscal report I was working on? I didn't do anything. I've been working on that all day. Why did you touch it? Oh, I don't know. I didn't. I only minimized it. I swear. Right, I'm here for a reason. Are you Liz? The Brachiosaurus furiously reopens all our windows and for a while types out some information before acknowledging me again. Excuse me? I met Damien. He said I'd have to wait for you to sort out my login stuff. Damien mentioned me. Oh, you're the guy that got smeared into the ground in gym class yesterday. That's me. Yeah, I'm Liz. Whoa. Inco. But, yeah, I'm new here, so I need an account. Not a problem at all. Liz sits down and cracks her knuckles as she starts typing away at the keyboard. Alright, I'll see if I can get that done for you. In a flourishing display of spreadsheet software experience, Liz navigates and organizes several documents in seconds. I've always had the general idea that there were a lot of shortcuts and commands, but yeesh. She's resourceful. So, you're an artist too. Huh? Since you want to enter the contest so bad. Yeah, I'm a photographer. Yeah, now you're liking it here so far. Well, students here are usually jump to asking about what they're graduating here for, so they can more easily form connections and collaborate. So excuse me if I might be going too fast. No, not at all. I'm a bit more at ease now that you've just explained it. It's pretty good, although I feel bad about missing most of the first day. It's not a big deal. Guess not. Although, truth be told, I see those paintings framed in the hall by the principal's office, and it does put a bit of a rain on my parade. Those. Yeah, I get what you mean. I think it's like that, but by design, honestly. Something about breaking the students' egos. Then you end up wanting to improve like crazy so you can reach your goals. At least that's what happened to me. I'm planning on going to university, and how are you doing that? By looking at me. I guess you're part of this council for a reason. I'm planning on going to university and getting degrees in design and business. And that's just the start. I'm also starting to become an apprentice for art dealings, getting the right paintings for the right people. My tutor said I'm impressive enough I should start enrolling for any and all of the important universities around the country I'd like. Wow. I mean, I'm also pretty well off myself, but it never occurred to me that I should be this ambitious. Thank you. What about you? I'm gonna be an e-celeb. It's gonna be epic. They're gonna dox me and try to ruin my life for weird little things that don't matter. Ah, well, that. Well, it's something. Yeah, at least more than a lot of people here. What do you mean? Like half the school may as well just be in a daycare. Sorry if that sounds rude. We've got these school programs and even industry professionals coming in for lectures. But it's like some people are just here because their friends happen to be here too. No big plans, it seems. Yeah. What, you mean like Damien? Yeah, I shouldn't have mentioned it. He's still cool though, don't get me wrong. I hope me talking about him to you like this doesn't come across as douchey. He's definitely the friendly type. He even partnered with me in gym class and dragged me along to sit with him at lunch. Is that so? Yeah, he was really excited about it too. And then he introduced you to Olivia as well and tried to break the ice so she can come out of her shell. Yeah, how did you know? Oh boy, I'm sorry about that, Inco. What, is Damien messing with me? No, Damien is great. He's just maybe a little too eager. If he considers you a friend to him, he'll want you to be our friend too. Specifically, he'll want you to be Olivia's friend. What's wrong with that? Nothing at all. But you've seen Olivia. You can probably tell she's a bit unresponsive. Doesn't really like to talk to anyone, not even Damien. So you can definitely try to be her friend, but just know that she'll most likely ignore you. You don't like Olivia? No, I do. She's fine, I guess. I sit with her during lunch after all. And I'm sure you'll get along with us just fine. And hey, I'd love to see Olivia make a friend. Just don't get too invested trying to get her to warm up to you. Damien will always be down to hang out though, and I certainly don't mind. It's just that him and Olivia are nigh inseparable, so if the deal turns you off, then it's not your fault either. There's history to that warning. Inseparable? So they're like boyfriend and girlfriend? No. They just live in the same house. Oh. Damien's also just incredibly patient and outgoing. I envy him. But yeah, he would like nothing more than everyone getting along like best buddies. What a bro. Goddamn. Unless you're like Damien and you can be pleasant to a brick wall forever, your time is probably better spent elsewhere. So, how serious are you about your ambitions? Pretty serious, I think. Liz nods. Something to keep in mind, then. It's a struggle, but like Damien says, we gotta keep trying, right? Liz gives me a half-hearted smile, but she still seems sad about something. Anyway, sorry for talking your ear off about private matters. You still want to get that submission turned in? She stops for a second on one tab to scan for something. And got it. She motions her head to the back of the room at the printer and as it hums to life. I get up and get the paper, both my username and password. Here are strings of numbers. I take a snapshot of the username and password so I won't have to remember it. Thanks. Anyways, you should hurry. Lunch is ending soon. I appreciate it. Right, according to the time display on the monitor, I've only got 10 minutes left. I followed the instructions on the printout, finally getting to the student hub of the site. And thankfully the art contest is displayed prominently across it. Clicking through a couple of links, I finally find the submission instructions. It's simply a matter of putting my entry details as the name of the file and dragging it into the school's shared drive. Plugging in my portable portfolio hard drive, I create a copy of my magnum opus. Then a quick rename, drag it here, and just in time. I take the extra minute to safely undock my hard drive and then log off the computer. Looking back to Liz, she's completely wrapped up in her work. I don't think interrupting her is a good idea, especially after what she said about Olivia in our own time. I opt to simply leave her be, heading out of the room into the library for class. After all, it's time for the class I've been looking forward to most. This day is certainly turning out better than yesterday. Hope I didn't just jinx it for myself. My nerves had been acting up when I first stepped back into the classroom. Made even worse when I was hit with another flashbang. After my 20 other classmates had finished laughing, Mr. Ideken made a show of waving a freshly taken photo from a fancy fold-up camera from the 70s. I dubbed this portrait, that. I already translated it, I think, so I don't have to do it again. After he'd thumbtacked the shot on a corkboard, filled with poor snapshots of everyone else, Mr. Ideken reassured me and sat me right next to Ben. He managed to sum up his syllabus in under a minute, instead taking the majority of the time to go over our first lesson and assignment on exposure and lighting. With each new light fixture he brought out and explained, I felt my mind swirl faster than with new possibilities of old shots. If only I had that then, or if I could have used that there. Now that you've had a small taste of it, we'll start on your first photography assignment, proper lighting. I'm salivating at the thought. Mr. Ideken had just finished his first lesson, where he'd handed out all sorts of equipment to look over. It's the first time I've handled some of these things, like the enormous box light that was still taking up the entirety of my desk. Remember, though, that these are just tools meant to enhance the photo. You can highlight a turd all you want, it's still a turd. The crude language guarantees a chortle from the few half-listening students. The teacher looks over to the clock and hums. Well, I see that we've managed to finish this lecture a tad bit early. And why don't you take all these last 10 minutes to compare notes? Maybe even consider doing the assignment as a collab piece with a classmate. The room is quick to fill with the sound of chatter. I wonder if, Hey! I turn to Ben and see his eager grin. Do you want to do a joint piece, since you don't know any good spots in the school and all? I pull out the assignment sheet from beneath the lightweight light on my desk and give it a quick scan again. Present a set of photos demonstrating your understanding of proper lighting. You are allowed to borrow one lighting tool and must take the shot on school premises. And I swear I've handed out this assignment for years now. If one more student just takes a picture of the hallway outside the classroom, I'm going to personally throw them over the railing. Be original, please. I've got the perfect choice for it. If we work together, we can even use 2 items. The offer is too tempting. Sure. I hold out my hand, and Ben takes and shakes it, sealing the pact. My face is feeling weird from all the smiling today. Boy, I wish school would ended up being that good the whole time. But in truth, I'd been enjoying Mr. Idkin's class so much that I couldn't stop. It feels like I've the entire world to gain from Mr. Idkin's lessons. And the entire world to explore, seeing as ever since the move, I hadn't had time to actually explore Velcadera Bluffs. Sure, on occasion I go out on my own to parks and stuff, but who doesn't? Besides, I'd be a pretty lame photographer if I didn't go out and find stuff to photograph. And you know what? I've been meaning to do a little looking around here. So to everyone else, this assignment makes them have to explore school, but I get to. Pretty sweet deal if I do say so myself. The hall outside the classroom is only one major photo op. Between that and the murals outside, I'm certain to find something cool. Inco. Inco! What's up with this guy? No, the murals won't work on their own. Since it was my first thought to use them, that means it's likely someone else's first thought. I need to think outside the box a bit. Think of some way to use the school's architecture to my advantage in a way that... Inco! My thoughts are disrupted by a worried-looking Ben. Maybe you should see a doctor, man. Head injuries are no laughing matter. I'm fine. What were you saying? I was asking how you were doing. You know, with schools and classes now. Oh, right. I'm doing good. Really good, actually. I'm in a class that I'm 100% enjoying and starting to make some genuine friendships. Compared to the disaster of yesterday, today has been astoundingly positive. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I've even got some friends now. Great. Oh, and what about your art submission? Was Liz able to help? There's something nibbling at the corner of my thoughts at the mention of the long-necked girl. Yeah, she gave me my login stuff and everything. Uploading the submission was a piece of cake after all. Awesome, though that does make you competition now. Both Liz and I have pieces in the running too. She told me she had submitted something, yeah. I'm a bit concerned since I didn't have as much time at all to prepare anything, but... Hey, everyone's got a chance. You never know. Yeah, she was pretty cool about it too. That whole friend group is pretty welcoming. I think I'm pretty lucky. Lucky? Ben seems perplexed by my statement. You said something at lunch when Olivia vanished. I'm noticing for a silent paraplegic, she sure has a lot of people upset. You got some hidden drama with her too? No, not really. Wait, two? Idekin calls out to us, striding over to inspect. I take it you gentlemen are conversing about your assignment together? Of course, Mr. Idekin. We were just discussing where we'd take our picture, right, Ben? Well, that's good then. Good thing you guys weren't talking about something off topic, like gossip. That would be a pretty embarrassing use of your time off the bat, I think. Especially considering you're currently the subject of some fairly humorous gossip, aren't you, Mr. Nito? Wait. Yeah, he said Nico. Okay, that's just... These nicknames, they're jumbled in. I'm awash in a wave of shame from his words and deeds. I look at Ben and I can see he feels it as well. If the air around someone needs clearing, clear it yourself. Idekin has a point. Maybe once a friendship is established, I can learn more about her. Alright, off you go now, and remember to get your assignment done by the end of the week. The room empties out slowly, most of my peers still chatting and discussing their plans for the assignment. Before I can continue talking with Ben about our own project, the Stuco president is already packed up and exiting the room. Guess we'll talk later then. Packing up my own notebook, I wave goodbye to my new favorite teacher and head off to my next class. Why is my computer warm? It's for something like this. Walking into history class for the first time, and it's about what I expect it to look like. Pictures of historical figures, small relics from various regions, and cartography of the Earth during its stages of continental drift. Though I notice that there's a distinct lack of a teacher in the class. Must be finishing up their lunch, I assume. Well, better get a good seat now before they're all taken. Eeny, meeny, miny. This one. I settle myself into my chosen desk and pull out my history book and notebook, along with a pencil. As the classroom fills with more and more students, it becomes a blur of vibrant scales. A few minutes pass, and I'm still wondering where the teacher is. The suddenness of the door slamming open stops any and all noise. It's quiet enough to hear a pin drop. The figure walks into the classroom and... Oh, sweet heaven, no. He stands there and stares down at everyone menacingly. Lee. He's a history teacher too? No. Thanks for welcoming me to my classroom, Solly. Of course, Miss Prockling. Oh, thank Raptor Jesus, he isn't our teacher. Spalling's a babe, what can I say? Ugh. The Raptor woman adjusts her glasses as she scans around the room before looking down at the paperwork in her hands. Looks like we'll have some late arrivals, but let's get down to business. I know that I introduced myself yesterday, but for any of those who weren't here, her momentary glance at me makes me believe Solly told her about my absence. My name is Miss Prockling, and this is history class. In this course, we'll be learning about the history of our primeval ancestors and their advancements throughout history. You can even say that it'll be like going back in time. Doesn't that sound exciting? Despite her admittedly forced enthusiasm, everyone in class responds with uninterested murmuring. Quick, Solly, be racist. I need to actually read the comics. I think they're free on the website, just completely, which is actually really cool. I think it was like that the last I checked. Despite her admittedly forced enthusiasm, everyone in class responds with uninterested murmuring. Not sure why though, this all sounds exciting. Maybe a little more on your own time, when you feel like looking through it. She walks over to her desk and places down her pile of folders. If that rings again, it's gonna scare the bejesus out of me. I'll have it scare the bejesus out of you too. Why not? It'll be exciting. She walks over to her desk and places down her pile of folders before flipping open her own special version of the history book. With a click of a button, she also turns on the projector to reveal a prepared slideshow for today's lecture. To learn about the extensive history of Saurians and their culture is something I've yearned for. If you can turn your books to page 36, we'll begin with the first chapter detailing the earliest interaction between Saurians and hominids. Oh, that sounds interesting. It was not interesting. I think I jinxed myself. Mrs. Prockling's history class is the polar opposite to Ideken's photography class. While her introduction to the class engaged me at first, things have slowed down into an unbearably slow crawl. My eyes scan over the introductory text of the first chapter. Despite the tension between the two groups, human settlers to the New World would continue to make overtures of trade to the native velociraptor tribes. Pretty sure I've read this line 3 times now. I tear my eyes away from the page in the hopes of blinking the boredom away. I look up to see the teacher staring down at various papers on her desk with laser focus. I must have stared too long, though, because I end up locked in a staring contest with Prockling. She raises an eyebrow at me. Okay then, Write down notes of pages 3 through 7 about the discovery of the New World. Without even fully comprehending the words before me, I'm copying the page down to the letter in my notebook. Absent-mindedly, I begin to recall everything that happened so far with my new classmates. Ben carries himself with a lot of refinement, and is easily my first pick as a photography partner. But that Mia girl, she doesn't seem to want to make friends. She just likes them meek, I guess. Whew. Of course, I could have figured that out from the cold look she gave me yesterday. Not to mention the rude hand gesture. You can't put that in an anime. Damien's very friendly, even if he can be a bit too enthusiastic sometimes. And though my encounter with Liz was brief, I can tell she's dependable. My progress in making friends has been pretty good, all things considered. But then there's Olivia. So far, she's still an enigma, and coupled with the apparent history she has with the others, it makes me all the more curious about her. Liz said it would be a bad idea to get invested, but in the end, it's effectively gossip and hearsay. This has come as something of a shock to me, but... And what do we have here, Miss Halford? The sudden voice of Miss Procklin, snaps me out of my thoughts. I lean my head to see the teacher looking down at... Wait a minute. Olivia's here, too. As luck would have it, I share not one, but 2 classes with Olivia. I must have been so jaded from trying to read this textbook that I didn't even notice the girl in the wheelchair. She sits in the front row, diagonally in front of me. And I don't think she's noticed this strange twist of fate as herself. Only the 2nd day of the school year and already doodling in class again? She proceeds to pick up the piece of paper from Olivia's desk. Looks like she's been drawing on it, though I can't tell what they are from where I'm sitting. Listen, Olivia, I know history isn't the most exciting subject to learn, but could you at least pretend that you're taking notes? The only response I hear from Olivia is a heavy sigh before leaning her head back down. While the teacher returns to skulking around the room, Olivia hunches over a notebook. Although I don't think those are notes she's taking. Nah, no one would do something like that with a I'm saying it in my mind, but then my mouth refuses to say it properly. It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Totalitarian. Teacher patrolling the room. It's an attempt to get us all to focus, but I'm fighting a losing battle to keep my eyelids from shutting. My jaws clenched tight to suppress the loud yawn building inside, even as Miss Procklin skulks right past me. Just before my drowsiness can overtake me, though, I notice a minute movement in the corner of my eye. One of my classmates glances up at the teacher, whose eyes are roving over the opposite side of the room, and down to scribble something down. The paper is then folded into a neat little note, and I watch as the next person carefully unfolds the sheet and also scribbles on it, before folding and passing it along again. Curiosity thoroughly piqued, I wait anxiously in my seat for the paper to get to me. It's a dangerous game, passing the note along so Procklin doesn't see. If I'm participating, does that make me a slacker? The student to my side makes his move to toss the note over. But Procklin starts turning around right then. He flinches and drops the hot potato on my desk in a flash. I nearly slam my own poop. The son of a bitch, isn't it?
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
I nearly slam my own paper over the page to cover it from sight. Mrs. Procklin continues to lecture about how the raptors and humans eventually started to get along because they traded narcotic leaves, or something like that. They got high as fuck, I guess, I don't know. And as you can see on the board here, now, I lift my paper. Luckily, there's plenty of space left. As for what everyone else has drawn, a bunch of peneyes. What the fuck? These students are filthy. It's so... These balls are so hairy. A not so solid attempt at a race car. Rough sketches of some eyes. a bunch of doodles. Names in various stylized fonts that I can only describe as graffiti. And, of course, it's not high school if someone hasn't drawn a pee-pee-wee-wee. A penis. A penis. A what? Mrs. Procklin with stink lines coming off of her. Yeesh, better not get caught with this. Psst. $25. That being said, I'm drawing a blank. What should I draw? I don't exactly doodle every day. I'm not a doodle dude. That's probably what I'm going to... Hermzoids. Drawing stuff for others is a nice gesture. Maybe I'll try to break the ice a bit. Although I don't really know anything about her. Can't hurt to try, though, yeah? I can think of a few things to sketch out here. Let's see. What should I do this time? Could you at least put a weight on this? Yep, clear all. And since I'm recording this window specifically, there's now a slight ass delay to what my mouse is doing. It's the most minuscule delay. I don't know. The creative juices aren't flowing. What the fuck? Right-clicking pauses the game. What the fuck? And there's my magnum opus, my masterpiece. Enjoy. Like he has that face sometimes when he's like this. Like that's what it reminds me of. Done. And done. I didn't have a lot of room to really work with, but as I surreptitiously admire my work, I find that I have a long way to go. It feels like I'm being mogged by the other doodles. Alright, Olivia's sure to like this. Miss Procklin is still turned around. Alright. If I slip the paper over Olivia's shoulder, I won't have to get up and risk getting caught. And here we go. It's a bit tricky, and I hesitate, but the paper meets its destination. She doesn't even look back, just takes the paper eagerly. It's completely different from how she was acting earlier. Her tail is even swaying side to side. Who's that wagging? Huh. Alright, now she's gonna see my sketch and possibly think I'm cool. She's not turning around. Well, it's not much, so it could also just... I'll be taking that. Miss Procklin snatches the paper from Olivia's claws. She holds her arms out. She takes a glance at the paper, and a small crack of a smile appears on her face before going back to its stoic visage. Goodness. A penis. I'll be taking that. Mrs. Procklin snatches the... Okay. Mrs. Procklin snatches the paper from Olivia's claws. She holds her arms out. She takes a glance at the paper, and a small crack of a smile appears on her face before going back to its stoic visage. It must have been mine. So, is this how you view me, Miss Halford? Procklin holds the paper up for all to see. Everyone in the class does their best to avoid her persecuting gaze. I know that most of you were a part of this as well. Look, I'm not asking for much. Please do your assignments when you're in class. It's the least you can do. We were just passing a note one at a time. She wasn't even paying attention. Yeah, how come all of us are in trouble? I noticed Procklin look down at Olivia for a moment before letting out a sigh of defeat. Look, since it's only the second day, I'll let this one slide. But I'm warning you now that I won't be so lenient the next time it happens. Otherwise, you'll end up like the last student who decided to be disruptive during class. Pfft, what happened to him? Get a detention slip or something? I'm spitting. Don't worry. I'll say it. I will not spray it. Miss Procklin pulls up the window blinds and pushes the window screen open. She then takes out a walkie-talkie. Sully? Yep, another hippie. CH4. Good job, soldier. Well, the fact that this is on Steam, it comes full circle now. Ugh. Now, if we can, let's continue. We're on the second floor. I sink back into my seat and continue riding, mainly out of unadulterated fear and of experiencing the same wrath from the teacher. Man, now I feel guilty for Olivia. I was the one to pass her the note, after all. Maybe I shouldn't have tried. Well, I can always apologize after class. Miss Procklin places the note and continues with her lecture for another half hour. With 10 minutes of class left, I see Procklin look at the clock above the floor. I then notice Olivia grabbing her attention, as if she knew what she's already going to say to her. The teacher nods her head. Olivia grabs her backpack and shoves all of her things into it. In silence, she wheels herself to the door, opens it, and rolls on out. In case I already said that before. The teacher must have noticed me watching her leave. Accommodations. Well, there goes my chances of saying sorry to her. Feeling defeated, I decide to focus on writing down my notes for the rest of the time left. Although I do wonder. She must have noticed my doodle. Did she just ignore it then? Class comes and goes, and I head back home on the metro. Same people, same bitches. I'm sorry. Another day, another dollar, and I'm all out of dollars. Though this time I pass on the mini breakfast burritos. Just have the toast in your mouth, brother. It's It's honestly a little better for you, I'd imagine. After how bad they messed me up during PE yesterday, I don't want my stomach to endure that torture again. Instead, I just got a few hash browns from a fast food joint by the metro. That's just as bad. God, that paper is soaked. Soaked. I idly scroll through my feed, as I usually do, blocking as many strange ads as I can. No, I don't want my rewards on Web3. As I usually do while the metro jostles about to my destination. It's been a few days now, and the strange scent of extremely cheap detergent and alcohol have become an afterthought. Some of the vines are actually plastic, and the flowers are little air fresheners. That's not actually something I noticed, more so witnessed when a passenger tried eating one. Some of the vines are real, though. For some reason, they go untouched anyways. Where are they growing from? Why are they there? How? The buildings make sense that they would kind of go and make their way through and all that, I'd imagine. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe they're just not tasty. Vegetarians don't eat the grass in their lawns, after all. I'm sure they're tempted sometimes. Right? Right? Anyways. The lights have gone out and someone just dropped a wrecking ball next to me. Came in like a wrecking ball. Must be Mr. Ferris. Good morning, Inco. Good morning. Has work been going fine? It has. Slowly, but I'm very thorough. I hate the idea of a place of learning not being an ideal place to learn. And I appreciate our talks. Your perspective has really helped me understand the student body more. You're welcome. Hey, have you given any more thought to the fashion thing? You really shouldn't. I have, although I can't say I really get it. There's plenty to see everywhere if you just look around. Really? Like what? Well, look. Look at the girl on the other end of the car there. It's rather revealing. I don't think that's really for me. I love my wife. I just mean as an example. Well, if there's an event coming up, I could see about trying something new. What would you recommend? It's a good question. What would be good to use here? In my inner eye, I conceptualize the coolest possible Ferris. The fresh machine is going full throttle. First, sunglasses. His eyes may be a little too far apart for that. However, beanie. Moving on. Big guns, fresh jacket. There we go, the coolest possible Ferris. Mr. Nito, sorry, just thinking. Why don't you start with... I don't know what happened last time. If this actually changes anything. Is that glasses? Really now? Those all sound rather expensive. Yeah, they are. You know what? Try a gold chain necklace. Okay, I don't think that changes anything. Yeah, I remember the necklace. A what? Yeah, just make sure it's appropriately sized so it doesn't look silly. I'm sure it would go a long way, and they're pretty cheap to get. Well, alright. I'll take your word for it. We sure talk about fashion a lot, though. Is that really all that everything's about these days? Yeah, of course not. What do you want to know about? What's YOLO mean? I've heard the term thrown around 10 years ago. That was like 5 years ago. Oh. Mr. Ferris and I talk more about contemporary urban slang until we arrive at our stop. He's gonna have that drip. Mark my words. Heart. Mr. Ideken had just started talking about our first project for the class. As soon as he'd said the word, Olivia's hand had shot up. Her gray eyes sparkled in excitement, and a smile threatened to crush the perpetual frown etched on her snout. The girl vibrates in her seat as she waves her arm in the air trying to get the teacher's attention. Ideken's own smile was strained as he and Olivia engaged in a staring contest with one another. I could only marvel as the two argued with each other without a single word. Eventually, Ideken won by turning off the lights and turning on the cheap projector hanging from the ceiling, and playing a safety video about paint that felt far too graphic for a school setting. I don't think I'll be able to eat barbecue for a while. That European Dennis the Menace is a real bastard, I have to say. Sawing tables in half. What a jerk. If we're gonna go back to last time. Thoroughly defeated, Olivia crosses her arms and pouts in her seat. And that is why we won't be using any of the more exotic materials for any projects, Miss Halford. Maybe I should have skipped breakfast entirely. I still don't see the problem. Once you've all had the proper safety handling course in the second semester, you'll be allowed to use oil-based paints. Until that time, however, all the assignments will require safer supplies. Now, since we've pivoted to this, might as well finish the full video. The Grumpy Gator. The Grumpy Gator holds a hand to her throat, mumbling to herself as she grabs a metal flask and drinks from it. Hope it doesn't have any lead in it. Like, you'll just get poisoned and die at any point. Like you have to watch out. Like maybe they are out to get you. You know what I mean? Just the most random shit is out to get you. Like, oh my god. The entire display from her was mystifying, at odds with how Ben and Liz described Olivia. In fact, it kind of reminds me of me. I can understand why, after all. Anakin is letting Ben and I use some of his equipment in photography. That thrill of experimentation, of new possibilities. No doubt that it brings a creative sparkle to her eyes. Eyes that fill with pure malice as they glare daggers my way. What? Was I staring? Oops. Before I could offer an apology, she already had her hands on the wheels. She rolls up to Anakin's desk and leans forward intently. I can't make out anything that's said through the video, but going by the occasional glare back, it's not hard to imagine. Crap, I really didn't mean to offend. Anakin notices I'm watching and motions for me to come forward. Slowly, I shift out of my seat and approach the desk. Oh, he's got his thumbs in his pockets. I just noticed that. Alright, is something going on here? Oh, God. Anakin speaks in a hushed tone, just loud enough for me to hear over the makeshift manatee. Olivia's telling me you're making goofy faces at her. It's just what we do. No, I said he's been staring at me all through class. Huh. It's weird, like he's never seen someone like me. Can't you move him to a different seat? Now, hold on a sec there, Olivia. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding. Mr. Anakin. It's like she's a different person here. She fishes out a canteen of water and brings it to her mouth. You're given a lot of leeway when it comes to seat assignment, but asking for something like this? I just want him to leave me alone. She sips again. What's that about? Well then, Inco, you tell us. What's on your mind? Can't have disagreements between classmates this early in the year. I'm confused. I didn't know there was any disagreement between us. Well, sometimes it's the little things you do that you don't even think about that affect people the most. Yeah. Anything like that come to mind? Oh. I shake my head. Olivia's glare doesn't diminish away from my field of view. I mean, I've been a bit curious about her since we sit next to each other, and I'm friends with some of her friends. We all sat together at lunch yesterday. Anakin nods to himself thoughtfully. Sounds like he just wants to hang out, Olivia. Her face scrunches at the mere thought. Yeah, not really interested. He's distracting me from classwork. I want to watch the video without being gawked at. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Does that resolve the issue for you, Olivia? No, I don't want some buddy in this class. She goes to take another sip, but ends up turning the canteen upside down. All out. Ugh. Olivia, you can go fill that up if you want. You won't be missing anything. The video's nothing you don't already know, I'm sure. Olivia eyes me suspiciously and slowly moves out the door towards the nearest water fountain. Anakin sighs. Alright. He leans back in his chair with his arms resting behind his head. Inco, I told you yesterday if the air needs clearing, to do it yourself. Now she's in a mood because you were staring at her like a weirdo. And here I thought you two would get along. She even gave you that sketch she made of you. Truthfully, I'm impressed, but here we are. What's going on, big guy? Again, sorry. It's been a pretty busy few days. Yeah, I've gotten into a cool friend group. We're all gonna sit together at lunch. Olivia's there too. She didn't say much, but I got her a soda. I don't know why she's so upset at me. It's nothing personal, Inco. It's not? She's reticent. Never heard that one before. Especially when it comes to change. If you're at her lunch period too, I can see why she'd be wary of you. If you don't mind me asking, Mr. Ideken. Yes? Why is she so open with you? How do you mean? Just now, she spoke more in that conversation than all the other times I've seen her yesterday. I saw the canteen. I'd figured it's something to do with her voice, but it's surprising. Her water bottle's the other way around. It's unfortunate, but she just rarely talks at all. And I guess she just really trusts me. I've known her since she was a freshman. She seemed to gravitate towards art and how I taught it, and soon enough I took her under my wing. But she lives with Damien, right? He's at the lunch table and she still barely talks to him. Poor kid. Hope he's doing alright. Seems to be alright. But yeah, she's distant to everyone else. So much so I keep hearing weird things about her. Ideken leans forward in his chair, suddenly attentive. Is this about you gossiping with Ben yesterday? A bit. He showed up to the table and said something about her being the same after she left. Probably some drama there, but I don't want to pry. He nods. But also, Liz told me some weird things too. He stops nodding. I know of her. Is something wrong? No. She just said I shouldn't get invested in being her friend. Everyone's being real weird about it, so I was just curious for myself. Guess that's why I was looking at her weird. Sorry. Ideken rubs his temples. Ay, it's worse than I thought. What is? I'll put it this way. You've met 3 people that know Olivia other than me. Of the 3, only one thinks highly of her, and the other 2 start unloading drama on anyone willing to listen. In this case, you. No wonder you're confused. I hadn't thought of it like that. I don't blame you. You shouldn't be involved in anything stupid. As schoolers, you know. I guess. I resent that. Ideken inhales, collecting his thoughts. Important questions, then. Do you really want to be Olivia's friend? Huh? I mean, I guess. A judging eyebrow is raised my way. Are you really, or just curious about her? He seems pretty serious about this. Yes, then. Olivia returns to class and rolls right back up to the desk. Back. Have you changed his desk yet? Ideken nudged his head towards me unexpectedly, prodding me on. I'm sorry I distracted you during class, Olivia. She looks to Ideken and gets a similar nod. Sure. I mean, you're welcome. I mean, thanks. Shit. But, No, really, I don't want to be distracted. Come on now, Olivia. The least you could do is give him another chance. You never know. I don't really want to know. I get he's like friends with Damien, but I don't really want to, you know? Not in this class. But I'd like to be your friend. She stops and raises an eyebrow. Lots of those going around recently. Sorry. Like she was expecting this response. She looks to Ideken for help. This is so fucking awkward. My God. Actually, Olivia, I'd also think he'd make a good friend for you. What? His words were like a battering ram. I'm simply saying to give Inco here a chance. I could almost see the imaginary bulwark she hid behind, slowly crumbling from what Ideken was saying. You're both quite similar at heart, though you may have different methods. Perhaps you'll find some compromise behind cynicism and naivety if you... Whatever, I said it good enough. If you work together. Finally, the last fragments of her imaginary fortress collapse. Olivia can only look at the art teacher and, with timid confusion painted across her features. Well, I don't. Are you for real, Mr. Ideken? I am. He's actually in another class of mine. I've seen him. He's passionate about his camera like you are with a brush. And I do expect great things from him. I'm just sitting there with that blunt ass expression. With those sunglasses. Oh, that is an expression right there. Ugh. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I really thought, oops, she accidentally bit her tongue. Oh. Her mouth is clamped shut. I hate just accidentally biting my tongue for absolutely no reason. Just, it's like, why, body? Why did you do that? I don't want that to happen, so don't make it happen. God. It's just my opinion. You can make your own choices, Olivia. She nods furiously. Oh, the movie is about to end. You two should get back to your seats. We good here? Olivia side-eyes me again and nods once more. All right. He motions for us to skedaddle. Olivia backs away to her spot. Thanks, Mr. Ideken. For what? I just gave an opinion. I'm serious. It's up to the two of you if you want to be friends. Don't screw it up. He waves me off again and gets up to flip the lights. I get back to my seat and stare absent-mindedly at the projected screen as I digest Ideken's words. He said he only gave his opinion, but it seems like he also gave me an opportunity to take the right steps in connecting with Olivia. And with what he said about her being passionate with a brush, it's gotten me even more curious about her artistic prowess. Speaking of whom, I noticed that she occasionally gives me a side-eye. I don't think she can see my eyes due to the dim lighting combined with my shades. She stares at me with a sense of strange curiosity, almost as if she's trying to get a read of me from my face alone. but from what I can tell by her facial cues, she seems confused and almost shaken up. It's like she wants to say something, but keeps on backing away at the last second. I guess her mind is also jostling around from Ideken's words. Our teacher flicks the light switch, and I feel my retina burn from the bright lamplights even with my sunglasses. Alright, normally in your first week we'd be doing something simple, like a color swatch wheel. However, I think you could all manage something a bit more advanced. The Gator girl's head whipped around at the words advanced. Whatever Olivia was thinking about before regarding me seems to be forgotten, as she focuses almost entirely on the teacher. Mr. Ideken holds up a stack of paper for us to see. First things first, I'd like for you all to fill out these topic sheets so that I know you understand how to safely handle oil-based paints. Last thing we need is another burnt-down classroom. History in these walls. Stories are told here. You can hear the whispers. The way Ideken says those words makes me imagine some pretty horrible outcomes. Your canvas is on fire! How did this happen? Once you've finished your sheets, bring them to me so I can review them. I'll be giving you the permission sheet after I know you lot won't set yourselves on fire or poison yourselves. I'm sorry. The allosaur guy in front of me hands back the stack, and I take a page from it before handling the rest. Before handing the rest to the Diplo girl behind me. My eyes scan over the sheet. What grade of mask do snouts longer than 3 inches require? And a realization hits me. I didn't see the first half of the video. My eyes scan over the page and I groan when I see the questions I have no answers for. All of them pertaining to dinosaur anatomy. The art teacher looks directly at me and then to the side. I try to decipher his meaning, follow his eyes. Oh. I turn in my seat and lean closer to Olivia. Hey, what? What now? What? What do you want? Huh? What is it? I'm not gonna let you draw me. Those classes are later. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What the hell? What the hell? Looking at her paper, I see that she's already answered the questions I couldn't. I show her my own page, tapping the upper section that was still blank. Olivia groans and looks to Ideken pleadingly. All she gets for her trouble is a thumbs up. Oh. Fine. Here. She holds out her sheet for me. Wait, isn't this cheating? No, not really. The art teacher wouldn't... When did he get back to his desk? Why does he have a sleeping mask? His lids are getting heavy. He goes... I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for the way I am. If I look over the answers, I still learn the safety procedures. So what's the difference in the end? That must be what he's thinking. Either that or he just doesn't give a heck. He's all out of hecks. That TeamSpeak tweet, that's the one good company tweet. That's the one good one. Everything else is bad. Get it out of here. That one made me laugh. I copy the words from Olivia's sheet, doing my best to at least rephrase them. Some of my classmates already walking up to Ideken's desk. He's barely reading the pages, not even taking the sleeping mask off. Thanks, Olivia. Whatever. Olivia finishes her page in a few seconds and wheels herself to the desk, too. The last answer I'm fairly confident on. Like what flashpoint means. I get up and go to Ideken's desk and set my safety assessment down. Good. Here's your permission slip to use from hazardous paints. He didn't even bother to look over my worksheet. He lifts the eye mask from his face and looks at me with one eye. What? Most of that stuff doesn't apply to you, Inco. Okay, so there's the... They would wear a different gas mask because they're dinosaurs. I have no idea what would apply to them. Just don't drink the pain or get it in your eyes and you'll be okay. Yes, Mr. Attican. Attaboy, now go back to your desk and wait for class to end. Tomorrow I'll be starting you all on something simple, like painting a cube or a ball. Yeah, model dodgeball painting. The eye mask drops down and I return to my seat. The class clock reads 5 minutes until lunch. Olivia's back to leering at me. I consider what I should do or say, some sort of icebreaker. Mr. Idekin said we're similar, and I can see some of what he means. Boogers. But I'm a photographer and she's a painter. Can I make it any more obvious? Oh. Sorcubus and a Daedalus walk into a bar. Ding dong, ring, boy. Have a good lunch now. The moment the bell rings, Olivia shoves most of her things into her backpack, not caring if her notebook gets crushed. Once she zips up, she races out of the classroom. Guess she doesn't want to get caught in the chaos of the lunchroom stampede.